up everybody, Gerald here, and we're back out on the bank down at Steve's Lake at Darenth Fishing Complex for our first session. When I got here I fancied fishing another lake, so I walked around Terrapin, which is where I started my carp fishing down here at Darenth, and the fish are spawning like mad. So I thought, why not go up to Basil's and Mason's and have a little look up there, just to see, you know, maybe a change of scenery, just have a little look up there and see what's going on there. Spawning like mad. So I thought, okay, where else can I go? Let's go back to Steve's Lake. Walked up here, didn't see any signs of fish spawning, had a walk around, didn't really fancy the other end where we normally fish, and we are actually right up the other end on the corner, and I'll just show you the swim now. So I got here at about 10 past 8, had a little walk around like I said, saw all the fish spawning on the other lakes and came up here. When I looked at the other end of the lake I didn't see any signs of fish, so I've come up this end and I've seen a few fish just patrolling just out in the middle of the lake, just out here on the surface. So there were a few fish up this end. I've come up here, I've managed to get the rods out all pretty simply really, no issues apart from getting a hook through my finger. Luckily it's only micro barbed, so I managed to get it back out. I was panicking for a little while thinking, oh my god, I'm going to have to go to hospital because it was right in my finger. Now I've just got to keep putting antiseptic on it and keeping it clean. But let me just show you where all my rigs are. Right, so I'm standing further back and trying to be a little bit quieter because I'm fishing one rig really close in. So there's a little like bush, what I call the bush island, and I've got one rig just there. I've then got the middle rod right over there, just off the island, and then the left hand rod is just off over that tree. I don't know if you can see in the video, but there's a bridge there which has got an inlet where the water comes in from the river. So you know, fresh water coming into the lake, bit of oxygenating, hopefully they might get in and around that area. So we're doing something a little bit different with bait this week. We've got two bottom bait rigs and a pop-up rig. On the right hand rod, which is down in the bush island, I've got a caramel and almond boilie bottom bait which I made myself. On the middle we've got the cell pop-up as always, and that's the one that's just off the island. And then the left hand rod, like I said, which is over by the bridge, has got a strawberry and almond boilie which I also made myself. So here are both of my homemade baits that I've been making. The other day when I was sitting home bored, I thought I'll give it a go, see what happens. So I went out and bought a rolling table and a gun. And the first ones I made were these orange flavoured caramel and almond boilies. And then the second batch that I made were these strawberry and almond boilies. They were supposed to come out red, but they've come out more browny. They've got some weird streaks of colour for them, so I thought they look pretty cool. Hopefully the fish like them and they'll eat them. Let me just give you a quick rundown of exactly where we are on the lake. So we would normally be fishing right down that end. That's the island to the left that we normally cast in behind. This is the main island which runs all the way up the other end of the lake. So we are right up the other end of the lake today. And if we go into the swim next door, you should be able to see the other side of the lake, which I haven't really shown you before. So this is the other side of the lake. It's all on the other side of the island. As you can see, it's a lot thinner. It's very similar all the way down to the other end until you get to the split, which is what we fish up on the bar where our middle or right rod normally is. Lots of overhanging trees, lots of fish features. So normally if I turn up at lakes and I see fish spawning, what I would do is just turn around, go home, leave them alone, let them get on with it, and come back in a couple of weeks when it's done and dusted. Now I came up here not seeing any signs of fish spawning. Now it's very visible on all the other lakes here that the fish are spawning, so that means to me, one, they've either done all their spawning in here, or two, they haven't started yet. I've put in a little bit of bait, not too much. Normally after spawning they get quite hungry, so I've put in a little bit just to see if I get a bite. If I get a bite and I get a fish, then I'll put in a bit more bait and just keep it going in just to see if I can get them on the feed. Okay, so let me show you what my bottom bait rig looks like. As you can see, there is a theme to my rigs. I keep everything very simple. We have a swivel, an anti-tangle sleeve, some 15-pound IQ2 down to a size 8 wide gape hook, and then we just hair rig on the boilie with a little bit of fake corn on the end there. IQ2 is very stiff, so it can be quite hard to tie, but it is great at resetting. So if a fish does pick this up and ejects the hook, it will reset, ready to be fished again, and you don't need to worry about tangles. It's 10:30 and the rods have been out for a couple of hours, no bites yet, no signs of any fish. We have got the lake to ourselves again, there is nobody else here, so if I start seeing fish down the other end I can pack up and move, but at the minute we're just going to stick it out up here and see what happens. Okay, so it's 20 to 12 and I've made a couple of changes. The only rod I haven't recast is what was my left hand rod, which is the one off that tree. That is now my middle rod. I've brought the right hand rod in and I've simply underarm cast it just off a set of pads which is out there, which are starting to grow. I've been seeing some fish just cruising in and around there, and one rolled over it about 2 minutes after I recast. I've put 12 freebies around that one, and then what was the middle rod is now back out on the island, but it's really close, and I've already had a knock on that one as well. Hopefully that all made sense. It was a little bit confusing, but just to recap, my left hand rod is now off a set of pads which is there, the middle rod is now off the tree over there, and then the right hand rod is off the island, which is really nice and tight, up against the island, all the way over there, right in that bush, basically where the geese are sitting. It's coming up to 1 o'clock and I'm thinking about reeling the rods in and going for a walk down the other end just to see if I can see anything down there. The spawning has made it really quiet across the whole of the complex, so it is going to be quite difficult to try and catch fish. I'm just going to go and have a little look around and see if I can see any. So I've now moved right down the other end of the lake. I'm being quiet because there is a gentleman fishing right behind me, just over there. We're now down the opposite end of the lake, fishing on the other side of the lake where we normally cast to. And unfortunately I have found the fish and they are spawning just on the other side of the lake. So as you can see, there is a man directly behind me where I'm fishing, so I've come a swim down. I'm trying to be as quiet as possible. I was pointing out that we've got one rod, the right hand rod off here, the left hand, middle rod, sorry, off that one. And then the left hand rod is off that island over there. And the fish are all over there, just on the side of this tree spawning. There's another one. As you can imagine, if they're spawning, it's not looking good for a bite. So it's 2:30 and it's become abundantly clear that the fish are not on the feed and they're too preoccupied with spawning. So what I've done is I've reeled in, I've packed up, and what we're going to do now is we're going to take a walk around all the other lakes and have a little look around. So that was quite a surreal moment. I've just met someone that's watched my YouTube videos, and he's fishing up here on Long Lake, which is where we are now, and I'll show you in just a second. So we're up here on Long Lake. This is the first lake we're going to be walking around. It's got carp to 40 pound in it, I believe, and catfish to over 100, like the one you're just about to see in a video now.
Oh, that's nice.
Move your fingers.
Yeah, I have.
So now we're coming to the lake where it all started for me with my carp fishing. Terrapin Lake. This is the very first bay where you come in. I've caught many fish from over on that bank and just down off that tube over there. Let's keep on going round. So Terrapin Lake is next to Gold Lake, which is right there. Let's go for a little walk. So this is the big swim on Terrapin that everyone likes to try and fish. As you see, it's got quite a lot of the water. And back down there where the island is where the first swim is. I think there's about another 3 swims along this bank. Just along here. I didn't film them because there are people in them. So this is always a good little spot if you ever want to fish terrapin. But now I'm going to show you the swim where I've caught the most fish out of this lake. Alright, you're probably not going to believe it, but this swim here, which is now a little bit overgrown because nobody fishes it, is the swim where I've caught the most fish on my time on Terrapin Lake. How I used to get 3 rods out in here, I do not know, but if you see that tree stump just over there, just underarm flick one over there. If there's no one fishing the swim next door, just stick one over by the tree over here, or anywhere along that back bank, and you're bound to get a fish. So over on Terrapin there's carp to about £25, and there's catfish in there as well, up to about 60. Alright, so now we're going to go on a long old walk all the way up to Mason and Basil's, which is right up this driveway. It seems quite busy up here, so I might not be able to do too much filming, but hopefully I can show you the lake. Let me just give you a clue. Last time I was up here, all of this was completely levelled. So I've been quite fortunate enough to see both these lakes be dug. I did actually make a video on Basil's when it was being dug. So let's keep on going. Get on up here. Oh, it's very busy up here. So I might not be able to film, but I'll do my best. So this is Mason's Lake. This has carp to 20. It's also got catfish in it. I believe the albino catfish is also in here. It could be in Basil's, I'm not too sure. So this is Basil's. I was very fortunate enough to see this be dug, and I actually made a video about it. Now, on the opposite bank, you've got like shelves all the way, so you've got one step down and then there's another step down before you hit the bottom. There's also, I believe, in front of this swim, there's also a big hump here. I'll have to have a look over the old videos to see if I can see it. But there's fish in here up to £30. There's also catfish in here as well. I can see a couple of nice carp. I don't know if they're coming up on the video, just over there, up on the surface. So at this point it became increasingly harder to film just due to the amount of anglers that were on the lakes. I didn't want to be disrespectful and disturb them, so I stopped filming. If a tour of Darenth is something that you'd be interested in seeing, maybe leave me a comment down below and I'll see if I can get Luke the bailiff involved, and we'll give you a good tour around, show you all the lakes, show you where all the features are, and talk about what fish are in each lake. There won't be a video now for a couple of weeks. I'm off on holiday with the wife. We're going to go and relax and enjoy ourselves. Until I see you again, tight lines, wet nets. I'll catch you all later.